Okay, everybody. Well, welcome to our conference lesson for today. My name is Alistair. I'm your teacher for this lesson. And here it is on the screen before you when to use gerunds and infinitives. When to use gerunds and infinitives. So let's get started. Let's have a look at our lesson agenda for today. So we have our introduction to gerunds and infinitives. Then we're going to look at common uses of gerunds and common uses of infinitives. And then lastly, we are going to look at verbs that can take both gerunds and infinitives. Okay, so let's start the explanation to understand gerunds and infinitives. So here's our introduction. Have a listen as I read it. You can listen and read the translation as well if you wish. When you talk about actions in English, you often need to decide whether to use a gerund or an infinitive. These are two different forms that a verb can take when it's not acting as the main verb in the sentence. So when it's not acting as the main or principal verb in a sentence. So once again, have a listen. When you talk about actions in English, you often need to decide whether to use a gerund or an infinitive. These are two different forms that a verb can take when it is not acting as the main verb in a sentence. Okay, let us continue. Definition and formation. A gerund is a verb form that ends in ing or ing and functions as a noun in a sentence. This means it can be used as the subject, object, or complement of a sentence. Even though it looks like a verb, in its gerund form, it acts like a noun. Okay, we have an example at the bottom. Reading is enjoyable. Here, reading is the subject of the sentence, functioning as a noun. So a gerund is a verb form that ends in ing or ing and functions as a noun in a sentence. This means it can be used as the subject, object, or complement of a sentence. Even though it looks like a verb in its gerund form, it acts like a noun. So, a gerund is formed by adding ing, to the base form of a verb. Examples: run becomes running, swim becomes swimming, work becomes working, play becomes playing, eat becomes eating, call becomes calling. Okay, so not a difficult thing to do in oral English. We add ing to the base form of a verb. Not too difficult. An infinitive, however, is the base form of a verb. It is the base form of the verb, the origin of a verb. An infinitive is the base form of a verb, usually preceded by the word to. As a full infinitive, they are always preceded by the word to. Infinitives can function as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs in a sentence, making them versatile in how they are used. Example: she wants to learn. Here, to learn is the object of the verb, once, functioning as a noun. Okay, so an infinitive is more complicated. An infinitive is the base form of a verb, usually preceded by the word to. Always preceded by the word to if it's the full infinitive. Infinitives can function as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs in a sentence, making them versatile in how they are used. Okay, let's continue. An infinitive is formed by placing to before the base form of a verb. Let's have a listen to some examples. Speak becomes to speak. Walk becomes to walk. Watch becomes to watch. Cool becomes to cool. Stop becomes to stop. So a full infinitive is formed by placing to before the base form of a verb, a full infinitive. So let's check the next step of our lesson today. Let's check the common uses of gerunds. Common uses of gerunds. So, a gerund as subject of a sentence. When a gerund acts as a subject of a sentence, it refers to an activity or action as the main focus of the sentence. Let's have a look at some examples. Playing tennis is a great way to stay fit. Cooking takes a lot of time and effort. Running in the park every morning helps reduce stress. Writing stories is something she loves to do. Speaking English is very useful. So a gerund can act as the subject of the sentence before the main verb in the sentence. Okay, and when it does this, the activity or action is the main focus of the sentence. So I'm going to read those again, and I'm going to emphasize the main verb after the gerund, the subject gerund. Playing tennis is a great way to stay fit. Cooking takes a lot of time and effort. Running in the park every morning helps reduce stress. Writing stories is something she loves to do. Speaking English is very useful. Okay, so gerunds as a subject of a sentence. Here we go with the gerund as the object of a sentence, the object of a verb. When a gerund acts as the object of a verb, it follows the verb and indicate what the subject does or experiences. It receives the action. Examples: she enjoys baking cakes on weekends. Okay, so in this example, baking is the gerund. It's the object. It comes after the verb, sorry. So I'm going to repeat that and emphasize the verb. She enjoys baking cakes on weekends. Okay. So we're going to have a look at some verbs now. So take notes of the following verbs. If you wish, you can take a screenshot, or you can check the repeat of the lesson on the website later. Here we go. So here we go with the most common gerund verbs, or common gerund verbs. We've got enjoy, go, consider, suggest, finish, start, admit, delay, practice, appreciate, continue, imagine, postpone. Okay, so these are common gerund verbs. Now, we mean that these are the verbs that come before the gerund as an object. So let's have a think again. Listen to these verbs. Enjoy, go, consider, suggest, finish, start, admit, delay, practice, appreciate, continue, imagine, postpone. Okay, well, let's have a look at some examples that use those verbs before the gerund. Before the gerund is the object. So have a listen to these real examples. I enjoy reading books in my free time. She goes swimming every Monday evening. They considered moving to a new city. He suggested taking a break before continuing the work. We finished cleaning the house just before the guests arrived. She started learning Spanish last month. He admitted making a mistake in the report. Okay, so in these sentences we have the subject, verb, and then the gerund as the object. And these verbs are very commonly followed by a gerund. Let's have a think now about gerunds after prepositions. Great. So in English, prepositions like in, about, for, on, etc. are often followed by a gerund when we want to indicate the action related to the preposition. So here we go. Please take note of the following prepositions. Here we have a list of some common gerund prepositions. So have a listen as I read through the list twice. About, after, before, by, for, in, of, on, to, with. Okay, about, after, before, by, for, in, of, on, to, with. The most common gerund prepositions. So here we have those prepositions in real examples with gerunds. Here we go. Have a listen to these. They were talking about going on vacation. He felt better after eating a healthy meal. She double-checked the report before submitting it. He is looking for a place for studying peacefully. She's involved in planning the charity event. He's afraid of flying. She is focused on improving her writing skills. Okay, well there we are with some real examples using prepositions before and after gerunds. Now let's have a look at some common uses of infinitives. Let's start with an infinitive as the object of a verb. Infinitives often follow verbs to complete their meaning. So infinitives often follow verbs to complete their meaning. Here we go with some examples. She wants to learn Spanish. They decided to stay home. He forgot to call his friend. We need to finish this project. I hope to visit Paris soon. Okay, so in these sentences, we have the main verb and then the full infinitive. Okay, it completes the meaning of these sentences. Let's have a look at full infinitives after nouns. Infinitives can follow certain nouns to give more detail. Let's have a look at these examples. She has a desire to travel the world. He made a decision to change careers. They have a plan to start a new business. She bought a book to improve her cooking skills. The project needs a strategy to succeed. Okay, so we've got some examples there that use the full infinitive after a noun to give more detail. So she has a desire to travel. They made a decision to change careers. They have a plan to start a new business. She bought a book to improve her cooking skills. And the project needs a strategy to succeed. We can also use full infinitives to express purpose. So infinitives can indicate the purpose of an action, why we do it. The purpose of an action, why we do it. Let's have a look at these examples. She went to the bank to withdraw money. He bought a new laptop to improve his productivity. They went to the gym to get fit. I moved to the city to find a better job or to find better job opportunities. He saved money to go on vacation. Okay, so these all show why. She went to the bank. Why did she go to the bank? She went to the bank to withdraw money. He bought a new laptop. Why did he buy a new laptop? He bought a new laptop to improve his productivity. They went to the gym. Why did they go to the gym? They went to the gym to get fit. I moved to the city. Why did you move to the city? I moved to the city to find better job opportunities. He saved money. Why did he save money? He saved money to go on vacation. These full infinitives, they indicate why, the purpose of an action. Okay, well, let's continue. Have a look at the next part of the lesson. So here we go with verbs that can take both gerunds and infinitives. Okay, let's begin with an explanation. Okay, so some verbs in English can be followed by either a gerund, verb plus ing, or an infinitive, to plus verb, with no significant change in meaning. Okay, so some verbs can be followed by either a gerund form or an infinitive form of the same verb with no significant change in meaning. Okay, let's check some examples. So, like, love, prefer, hate. Let's have a look at like. So, in the gerund form, I like swimming in the lake. Infinitive, I like to swim in the lake. Okay, the meaning. is the same. Love, gerund. She loves hiking in the mountains. Infinitive. She loves to hike in the mountains. No real difference. Prefer, gerund. I prefer jogging in the morning. Infinitive. I prefer to jog in the morning. Very similar. Hate, gerund. He hates cleaning the house. Infinitive. He hates to clean the house. Okay, so they all have a similar meaning here, the gerund and the infinitive form. So why do we use one and not the other? Well, this is your personal preference. Okay? In most cases, it's up to you. Personal preference. So, in some cases, the choice between gerunds or infinitive can come down to personal preference or stylistic considerations. For example, I prefer swimming might feel more natural for some speakers than I prefer to swim, and vice versa. Context. While the meaning may be the same, sometimes choice can subtly affect the emphasis or rhythm of a sentence. For example, I started studying might feel more immediate, while I started to study might sound more deliberate. Okay, but really, the meaning is the same. Okay, so this really comes down to personal preference. Okay, so we've got a chat exercise here for you guys to do if you want to do it. Let me read the chat exercise for you. It says, choose your preference of gerund or infinitive and write in the chat, what do you like to do and what do you like doing? Okay, so for example, I could use one. I could say I like teaching English. Okay, so I've used the gerund form there. I like teaching English. Now, I might also say I like to swim. And this is the infinitive. So I've just chosen my own personal preference. So what about you guys? What do you like to do? What do you like doing? If you want, you can participate in the chat. Maybe give me an example of something that you like to do or something that you like doing. Okay, great. So I like staying at home. Okay, so we can't say I like staying at home this evening because this is just in general. We're using the verb to like in the present simple. So I like staying at home. Okay, or I like to stay at home. I like cooking dishes. This is good. It's just in general. So I like cooking dishes. I like to cook dishes. Okay. So this is how we can use them. Okay, here's another one. Oh, this is great. I like watching Christmas movies during winter. Me too. That's a great one. I like walking in the wood. Fantastic. Okay, now both of these can be changed. I like to watch Christmas movies during winter. Or I like to walk in the woods. Absolutely. Okay, so those are things that we like to do or like doing. Let's try and think about what you hate to do or what you hate doing. Okay, so this is the opposite of like, of course. So I'm going to put an example in. I hate parking my car. I hate parking my car. That's something I hate to do. I hate to sing as well. Okay. And Raymond, thank you. I hate waiting in the rain. Oh, that's a good one. So I hate waiting in the rain. I hate to wait in the rain. Same meaning. Here we go. Another one. I hate eating vegetables. Okay. Yeah. I hate to eat vegetables. Okay. We've got another very good one here. I hate running. I understand. And I hate to run, of course, would be the infinitive form. Okay. So when we're using hate and like, using the gerund or the infinitive is our personal preference and doesn't really change the meaning. But well done, everybody, for sharing those examples. Fantastic. Okay, well, let's have a look at our conclusion for the lesson today. So, in conclusion, mastering gerunds and infinitives is crucial for clear and effective English communication. Gerunds are used when describing activities or following prepositions and specific verbs, while infinitives express purpose or follow particular verbs. By understanding these patterns and practicing their applications, you'll improve your ability to construct sentences accurately and convey your ideas more clearly. There we go. Well, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure for me to present this lesson on gerunds and infinitives to you today. Thank you very much for your participation and for being here today. Yes, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. So it is time to say goodbye, though. So from myself and the rest of the Cercle de Langues team, look, there they all are. They all say thanks for watching. Thank you for watching. I will be back here next Monday teaching something else. I hope you can join me here. But in the meantime, it is time to say goodbye.